In Foundations Math 6, we're going to look at problem solving with rational numbers in decimal form. This is in section 2.2 of your MathLinks 9 textbook. But before we do that, we're going to review how to add and subtract integers. So we're going to add when we see the same signs as you will see in the following examples. If I see a minus sign followed by a negative sign, we're going to add. So let's look at the example. -3 is our starting point on our number line. And then I see a minus sign and a negative sign. So I can rewrite that as -3 plus 4 is +1. If you're having a hard time adding and subtracting with the integers, pull out your number line and refer to that as well. Here we're going to add again when I see a plus sign and then a positive sign. So here we have a -5 as our starting point. And we have a plus, +6. So I can rewrite this, -5 plus 6 is 1. So to review, addition with the same signs. With subtraction, we're going to be looking for different signs. Here, if I have a minus sign and a positive sign, we're going to subtract. Let's look at the example. Here we have +7, so we're going to start at +7 on our number line. We're going to, we have a minus sign and a positive sign, so we're going to subtract. We can rewrite this as 7 minus 4 is 3. Here again we have a positive sign or a plus sign and a negative sign. We're going to start at +8 on a number line. We see a plus or an addition and then a -6. So again we're going to subtract, and we can rewrite this as 8 minus 6 is 2. Now that we've reviewed how to add and subtract integers, we're going to look at how to add and subtract rational numbers. The first thing we want to remember are the rules for adding and subtracting integers that we just talked about. Secondly, we want to determine the difference between the two numbers. And thirdly, the sign, either positive or negative, will go with the number that is farthest away from 0. Let's look at an example. Here we have question 4a. We have 0.98 plus -2.91. So following our adding and subtracting rules that we just referred to, we know because we have a plus sign and a negative sign here, we're going to subtract. So we can rewrite this as 0.98 minus 2.91. The second thing we're going to do is determine the difference between these two numbers. So here we can subtract as you would subtract something like 7 minus 4. And when we do that, we are going to end up with 1.93. But that is not the final answer. We need to recognize that -2.91 is farther from 0 than 0.98. So we're going to keep the negative sign, and our final answer is going to be -1.93. Let's look at another example. We're looking here at question 4D in section 2.2 of the MathLinks 9 book. The question reads, -1.49 minus -6.83. Here again we can remember the rules for adding and subtracting integers and see that these two minus signs or negative signs are going to be changed to a positive or addition sign. So we can see that this is -1.49 plus 6.83. And the easiest way to solve this is to take the plus or the positive 6.83 and bring it down here, and take the -1.49 and bring it down here, and solve like a simple subtraction question. So your final answer is 5.34. Next, we're going to look at part 2 of our handout here, multiplying and dividing rational numbers. The word product means the answer to a multiplication question. The quotient is the answer to a division question. So the product or quotient of two rational numbers with the same sign is always positive. In contrast, the product or quotient of two rational numbers with different signs is always negative. Let's look at two examples. Question 6a states 2.7 times negative 3.2. So here you can see that the signs are different. We have a positive sign and a negative sign. So here when we multiply this, we are going to end up with a negative number, negative 8.64. In contrast, here in question D, we have negative 4.37 divided by negative 0.95. Here we have two negative signs. As a result, our answer is going to be positive. And our final answer is positive 4.6. Lastly, we're going to look at a word problem from section 2.2. The word problem states, Saida owned 125 shares of an oil company. One day the value of each share dropped by 31 cents. The next day, the value of each share rose by 18 cents. What was the total change in the value of Saida's shares? So in day one, we can see that the value dropped by 31 cents, and that's going to tell us that it's going to be a negative sign. So we're going to multiply that by 125. Why? Because the value dropped for each of the shares. And when we do that, we're going to end up with negative $38.75. So in other words, Saida lost $38.75 in day one. On day two, the value of each share rose or grew by 18 cents. So you'll see here that's going to be a positive sign. Positive 0.18, again multiplied by 125 shares, is going to give us $22.50. Now, what we want to do to figure out the total change in value is take our number from the first day, negative 38.75, and add it to the number from the second day, positive 22.50. And you'll see here that over the 2 days, Saida lost $16.25.